Hello, and thank you so much for joining us on Spectrum News. I'm Nicole Cross. Dr. King delivered that I Have a Dream speech back in 1963. That was at the March on Washington. Interesting point, 250,000 people were there for that particular speech. 300,000 people are at the MLK March in San Antonio. 2 people are recovering in the hospital after a major accident. San Antonio police say 2 cars crashed near Loop 1604 and 181 southbound. Brian, Yvonne, it was like a scene from an action movie, but this one, unfortunately, very real. 2 Good Samaritans stepped in to stop the shooter and prevent the tragedy from being much worse. Well, as family members iron out funeral plans, friends and co-workers of San Antonio surgeon Dr. Najee Khairouz are remembering his legacy.
It is National Love Your Pet Day.
Yes, it is. Pet owners can celebrate by giving them some extra TLC today. I could see behind her people of all nationalities, races, like we said, ages, backgrounds. It's really a beautiful picture to see everyone coming together for one purpose, honoring one iconic civil rights leader who stood for equality for all mankind. Spring is a month away. Hard to believe it, but it's true. But for more than 160 million Americans, the warmer weather may seem like a lifetime from now.
The Super Bowl of Caring aims to tackle hunger. Coming up, how you can get involved.
Rights for the LGBTQ community are the focus of many bills this legislative session. A group of clergy members from around the state gathered in front of the Capitol this morning, sharing their beliefs that religion shouldn't play a role in how the LGBTQ community is treated. The young woman is recovering this morning after giving birth to a stillborn while in immigration custody. Authorities say the 24-year-old Honduran woman was about 6 months pregnant when Border Patrol agents arrested her near Hidalgo, Texas. 3 days later, and after complaining of stomach pain, the woman was taken to the hospital but then released. She was transferred to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and that's when she went into premature labor and delivered a stillborn baby boy. Well, a jogger in Colorado says he killed a mountain lion after it attacked him. The man was running in a park when he heard a noise behind him. This is where that officer-involved shooting ended. Now take a look behind me. Still a very active scene. You can see the crime tape, the cones, which we have to stay behind. Another top Virginia Democrat admits to wearing blackface decades ago. Attorney General Mark Herring issuing a statement today saying he wore brown makeup and a wig in 1980 to look like a black rapper during a party at the University of Virginia. This time yesterday, we were here at Lanier High School in Austin previewing that vote to rename 5 AISD schools. And after about an hour of public comment, the final vote came in just before 10 last night. Well, President Donald Trump is coming back to the Lone Star State. The president's campaign announcing today he will hold a campaign rally in El Paso next Monday. Today, nearly 200 people from across Texas will rally at the state capitol in support of cancer research and prevention. Survivors, advocates, and volunteers will urge lawmakers to authorize $600 million in funding for the Research Institute of Texas.
A mother in New Jersey was home alone last week when she went into labor.
That's right. She ended up delivering the baby herself and in only a few minutes. Here's Lauren Glassberg. Send us your pictures. We'd love to see them. And what a great day to spend time with your pet. It's beautiful outside.
I did that a little earlier today. I actually had a picture. It didn't make the cut, I guess. But
Best Shop just learned that they are a top 5 finalist for the Small Business Revolution Main Street competition, and we just believe they're going to take it all the way.
It was like a scene from an action movie, but this one, unfortunately, very real. 2 Good Samaritans stepped in to stop the shooter and prevent the tragedy from being much worse.
I pulled up on the intersection and I saw the shooter. Him and the neighbor across the street were both coming out about the same time, exchanging fire.
Johnny Langendorf was headed to his girlfriend's house on Sunday morning when he came upon this harrowing scene. A gunman opening fire on innocent people at First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas.
The shooter got in his truck. The gentleman with the rifle came to my truck as the shooter took off, and he briefed me quickly on what had just happened.
Langendorf and the neighbor took off after the suspect, identified as Devin Patrick Kelly, who authorities believe killed 26 people and injured at least 20 others.
We just take pursuit. We speed over 87 through traffic, and like I said, we hit about 95 going down 539 trying to catch this guy until he eventually lost control on his own.
Langendorf says the chase came to an end near a sharp curve near Country Roads 307 and 539 in Sutherland Springs, and that law enforcement arrived 5 to 7 minutes later.
Before they had showed up, while the other gentleman had his rifle on him, I was stopping traffic ahead because in case there was crossfire, no one would get hurt.
Langendorf is now being held a hero for helping to stop the shooter, but he says his focus is on the families affected.
It was a horrible tragedy, but I hope the families affected can sleep a little better at night knowing that he was taken care of.
Authorities say Kelly was found dead in his car. Right now, they're working to determine whether it was the result of a self-inflicted wound. They say more people could have been hurt if it weren't for the men's actions. In the newsroom, Nicole Cross, KVUE News. I am standing in front of a home here in Caldwell County that was in direct line of that possible tornado this morning. Take a look behind me. You can still see tree limbs lying all over this front yard. And in the distance there, you can see a storage shed that was pushed off its cinder blocks. The homeowner didn't want to speak on camera, but did tell me what happened. He says at about 5 this morning, he got an alert on his cell phone about a possible tornado in the area. He grabbed his 2 sons and tried to escape out of the back door, but couldn't because the back porch roof collapsed, blocking that doorway. So the family went out the front door of their mobile home and say they could barely get to their vehicle because of how strongly the wind was blowing. The father tells me he drove into Luling, called police, and was told a storm had passed over their area. The family returned home to find trees split in half, their carport roof ripped off, and lawn furniture tossed all over the backyard. The father says he's still shaken up about all of this. He says he's lived in this mobile home 15 years and has never seen anything like what he experienced this morning. The good news is that the family and their pets who were in the backyard at the time are all doing okay. Live in Caldwell County, Nicole Cross, KVUE News.
These kids laugh together and learn together. They're part of a program called Expect Respect that promotes safe and healthy teen relationships. One such relationship, friendship.
How do teens decide who to be friends with?
I look for people who I feel like see and hear me for who I am.
Like a real friend is someone who they're who they are on the inside.
And someone who makes your life better, not worse.
Some people are more controlling. They may seem like a good influence and they may seem like they're trying to help you out, but I think the kind of controlling people are definitely someone you should distance yourself from.
Dr. Sonia Krishna, a child psychiatrist at Dale Children's, agrees. She says when choosing friends, lean towards healthy interactions.
So making sure that they actually feel supported, that they can work through and do conflict negotiation and resolution, and that they don't feel like they're being put down or bullied in any way.
One big sign that I've seen of unhealthy relationships with people that I see at my school is friends who make fun of you or insult you as a joke, and they just act like this really light, funny thing, but that takes its toll over time.
And so what's your best advice for a teen who may be in a situation like that?
Be honest with the person that you're having problems with. Say, this is how I feel in this situation, and I think going forward, this is what needs to happen.
Many teens my age, they tend to avoid the problem, they tend to go around the problem, and they try to do everything not to talk about the problem.
These kids say it's never a good idea to hold on to a toxic friend, and releasing that negativity opens space for something better.
There's gonna be better people out there who are more friendly to you and people who understand you and actually care about your feelings.
It's a lot for a child or teen to sort through, and that's where parents come in.
We can model good relationships for them, and we can talk through the ones that they're actually in.
Helping their kids understand what kind of friendships are healthy and unhealthy is what parents should do, because sometimes it's really hard to figure out which is which.
I believe sometimes in certain situations your parents should tell you, you are worth it, you should be doing this, you shouldn't be being handled like that. But then you also need to let your kids go through that process or they will never believe it.
Kudos to those kids. They
Absolutely.
were so insightful, so expressive. And here's the takeaway for parents. One, they need to see you interacting with others. They need to see your friendships, your relationships, because they're going to model what they see.